Bonjour les amis. This is GenerateHER coming to you directly from the City of Light. I'm Jane Bertch, a Chicago native, Paris-based entrepreneur, author, and your partner in personal reinvention. I've spent the past 20 years living and working in Paris, and after leaving the corporate world and deciding to create something of my own, I've discovered both the beauty and the challenge of building a life shaped by curiosity, creativity, and a sprinkle of courage. In Season 2, we're going to dive deeper into the ideas that spark change. We're going to explore the small habits that shift our trajectories and the trajectories of those around us. We're going to rewrite some of that inner dialogue. We're going to lean into curiosity, and we're going to dare to reinvent ourselves at any stage of life. These are the practices that lead to true transformation. So whether you're planting a seed in your jardin secret, your secret garden, or giving voice to your creativity for the very first time, let's step into your next chapter with intention. And of course, with a touch of Parisian charm. So as we say in French, on y va, let's go. Welcome back to GenerateHER. Can you imagine we're approaching the end of 2025? That's just so hard for me to believe. When I think back a year ago, I just started my podcast, and here we are a year later, and so many different things have happened. And as we approach the end of the year, you may have heard me say that November is kind of the start of my new year. I get so excited about it. It could be the holiday lights. It could be the excitement of a new year coming, maybe a little intrepidation about the holidays overtaking everything. So I start to plant seeds for the next year in November. And for me, that's not rushing it at all. That's just getting excited. And I want to quote one of my favorite quotes from Abraham Lincoln. The best way to predict your future is to create it. So I start trying to create mine now. And in creating mine, I love to have discussions with people about creating theirs. And there's been a lot of that bubbling up lately. And not just about creating something in particular, but about creating joy and happiness and fulfillment and trying to find what is the vehicle that will deliver that? What is next for them? And that's tricky. And I've been asking myself that too. And the one thing I come back to is this beautiful term in French called le fil rouge, the red string. And this is a term you'll hear French people talk about when they are trying to express what is the theme that runs through things? What is the string that holds everything together? And if you can take time looking at that and trying to uncover that, it's tricky because that little red string is hidden, but it's always there. If you can find it, that will give you insights to what could be next for you. And in finding that, you just need to look for patterns. What are the things you come back to over and over and over again? And that's why I think no matter what you've done up to now, it's data and information and transferable skills that can take you onwards. I really get so frustrated and upset when people say, I don't have those skills. You probably do. They've just been packaged in a different form. So as you're heading into the end of this year, if you're starting to think about next year, if you're like me and you want to plant a few seeds now, if you want to start germinating those seeds so they'll be strong and ready to plant for spring, start looking for your fil rouge. What is that one thing that you just continue to do and find joy in? And I'll tell you what, mine has been community. I realize that. Somebody might ask me, how did you go from banking to a cooking school, and now from a cooking school to starting a whole nother business? And one thing I will tell you that has woven all of those together is relationships and community. If you don't have good relationships, you cannot be a good banker. If you don't understand your clients, you cannot service them. Same with a cooking school. If you don't understand what your clients need, you can't create experiences for them. Same with what I'm trying to do now. It's very much relationship and community oriented. I feel people are at their best when they're planted in the right space. And that planting does not mean moving to Paris. Let me tell you, it just means finding the soil, finding the environment, the community that will nourish you, and you taking responsibility to nourish yourself. So 2025 has been a pivotal year for me. And I always hark on about writing, but I want to tell you all of this came out of me writing my memoir. So I do really believe in the power of writing, and I encourage you to do the same. It just, not only will it give you clarity, but if you dare to share it with others, it might open up completely new insights. And with writing my memoir, I realized there were a lot of women at a certain age who had just lost sight of how fabulous they are, of how much wonder and enjoyment and fulfillment lies in front of them. They just needed to get in touch with themselves and be planted in the right community. So in those efforts, you will have seen I ran retreats in Paris in 2025, and I'm doing it again in 2026, and I'd love to have you. You can find them on my website. I've also decided to return back to one-on-one coaching. Sometimes you just need that trusted ear and advisor that helps you to get clarity. And I have such enjoyment and fulfillment in that. So I'm going to be doing that in 2026. And I also believe there needs to be a special, dedicated, sacred space for women in business and women entrepreneurs. So I'm creating a mastermind experience. We'll meet virtually March through August and September. Everybody will come together for a celebration in Paris. But all of those things are really around community and understanding ourselves and relationships. And that's been my fil rouge. But what I also want to tell you is that fil rouge has been growing for 30 years. Believe it or not, I studied women's studies, was my minor, long before it was popular, 30 years ago. So sometimes when you get quiet with yourself and you look for these signals, you'll find where you're meant to be. And there's nothing like doing it with a group of supportive people around you. And I've been so lucky with that. But I want to tell you, starting up again, even after 16 years of a seasoned business, even after the many years I spent in corporate, starting up again is scary. And I have those same feelings I've had every time I've embarked upon something new. So I want you to know that that's normal. And I would hate for anyone to look on the outside and say, oh my gosh, she has it easy. She can just up and create these things. I really don't. It's a struggle. And I have to get right with myself to remind myself that if I do the work, this will work. It's as simple as that. But I wanted to share with you 5 things that I am reminding myself right now. Again, even after 25 years of working, more than 25 years, and 16 of those having my own business, there are 5 things that I keep coming back to that I have to say, okay, Jane, suit up. We need to get in it. The first one is practicing in public. Now, I've always said that I have a high tolerance for that. I've moved countries, which practicing in public means you just have to get on and just do it. You have to just make things happen. If you are too afraid of how you sound or how you look, you're never going to get anything done. And I've faced that for the past 20 years in France. So here I am launching a new business, and that requires practicing in public again. And like everyone, I have those same fears of how I'm perceived. Can people see me in this space because they've seen me as something else? Am I willing to put myself out there? That's hard. I don't have an easy answer for it, except that the longer you do something and the more you do something, the more immune you become to the fear of it. So I remind myself every day, practicing in public for my new businesses is talking about them. is sharing why they're important, is letting people have insights to them, letting people have insights to me. We're not just our biggest obstacle. We also know that there's lots of people out there who enjoy us in the box that they know us in. It's like a Christmas present. You have this beautiful box. You accept that that box is the way it is. And the moment it transitions into something else, it's hard. So for all those reasons, trying to realize this new version of ourselves, it's challenging. There's no easy answer except for continue to try to practice in public. Try on this new version of you as much as you can and let other people see it. That's my first rule, and I'm trying to follow it. The second one is seeking creativity. If you are at the point where you're trying to develop, you have to have positive input. You have to see things differently. You need to actively seek out creativity in all its forms. And creativity to me, let's be clear, is not me painting or drawing. That's not something I particularly enjoy, and it's not something I excel in. Creativity to me is fueling my brain with excitement and ideas. And I can do that in many ways. And I'll tell you one of the ways I love to do it. I love stationery. I have a stationery problem. I'm an addict. I have more journals than I'll probably ever be able to use. I have a waiting room of journals, but I love choosing them. So going shopping for stationery and pens and pencils and journals, I realize that that is my rush of creativity because I start to imagine all the things that those pens and pencils will write. I start to imagine all the beautiful ideas and dreams that those journals will hold. And that helps fuel my creativity. So find what works for you. It could be journaling. It could be going to art exhibitions. It could be constantly learning. Whatever it is, find that source of creativity that speaks to you. And I will tell you, and I mean this, every single one of us is creative. We start that way. We're born that way. You can look at children and see it. And sometimes we correct it out. So find those ways to get in touch with it. And this is one of the reasons why for my retreats here in Paris, every single day has a creative outlet. Every single day has us doing something, hopefully a bit out of our comfort zone, that allows us to express ourselves and be dazzled with all the many things we can do that we didn't even realize. So I hope you find that sense of creativity. That's my rule book number 2 in starting a new business or any endeavor, is to get those positive inputs, those creative inputs that keep you excited, that keep your ideas flowing. That to me feels so hopeful. Number 3, I've learned this in France, but I think this has always been a bit of who I am: strategic procrastination. And I want to thank Adam Grant because he's the first person that I actually learned this term from. And I think France is artful in its strategic procrastination. And basically, that just means I move in my own time. Strategic procrastinating allows me to collect information and data that I need to help me move forward. It also protects me from feeling like I need to be in anyone else's timeline. You know, we've got so much information, which is wonderful, but sometimes it's not always healthy for us. We see these images and we see Instagram and we feel like everybody else is so achieved and they're doing all these wonderful things in this incredibly fast, successful way, and they're not. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. So if you allow yourself to procrastinate and not act, as I do, it takes away the pressure of, oh, I should be doing this at the same time Beth is. Or why hasn't my business done that? I just know I'm not ready. I just know I'm strategically procrastinating. I'm getting all the data I need, and then I'm going to act. And speaking of acting, that takes me to point 4. You just have to do it. That's the secret sauce. You just have to do it. Nothing needs to be 100%. I hate to say that. And that's not a sense of let's do things slapdash, let's not care. It's, in my mind, nothing is ever 100%. There's always room for development and improvement and enhancement. You need to find that percentage that you can tolerate to act on. And for me, I can tell you it's nowhere near 100%. And coming back to my first point, I do practice in public. I have to. I have to launch products. I have to launch experiences and see if anybody's going to have an interest in them. And if I'm not willing to just do it, even if I don't have all the information, even if it's not 100% developed, I'm not going to get very far. Now, you know best how to set up those boundaries and guidelines that tell you, okay, I'm launching something. If I don't have interest by this date, I need to pull it. Or if by this date I don't have at least 50% occupancy, I need to pull it. But if you're not willing to start, you're never going to get to the point where you can make those decisions and make those calls. And I want to remind you, there is no such thing as failure. I just think that's a data point. In the spirit of being a scientist, and I'll say I love Anne-Laure Lecomte's book, Tiny Experiments. You're just collecting data. You try an experiment, you get data, it's either positive, neutral, or not positive, and then you take that and refine and move forward with another experiment. But you have to just do it. And that leads me to number 5. Doing it in a way that is unique to you and comfortable to you. I recently shared something on Instagram. I reshared. It was somebody who said, I'm giving an award to all the business people that did not cry on Instagram, did not dance, and did not announce that they're going on a break. And a friend of mine said, is that shaming people that do that? And I said, absolutely not. It's not. I'm not shaming anyone that's doing that. I'm just proud that I have not, because that's not who I am. And I'll tell you why. I'm not going to dance on Instagram. If I have to dance on Instagram to get people to like my content, they're not likely to be my type of people. And I finally have understood that, and I'm okay with it. Do I love watching others dance? Do I celebrate them when they do? Absolutely. Do I love to dance? I will dance you under the table. You'll never win a dance-off against me. I love dancing. But I'm not going to do it on Instagram. That's not what I want to share of me. And I'm so happy that I don't feel compelled to act in a way that is not authentic to me. And I'm not going to cry on Instagram. Does that mean I have not had plenty of disappointments? I've had so many things work out exactly not as I intended. I've had things that didn't work out at all. I've been, constantly picking myself up from disappointment. But when it comes to my businesses, I should say, plural now, they're very far down on my list of priorities, on the list of what really matters. Would I be devastated if my businesses don't succeed? I'll be pretty hurt. But what's most important to me right now is the love and health and welfare of my family and the people I care about. And knock on wood, for 2025, they've been okay. So I've had nothing to cry about. Nor would I use that to, again, solicit likes and follows, because that's not who I am. And the people that need that are not going to be my type of people. And lastly, will I announce if I need a break from Instagram? No. I'll just take my break. And I'm so grateful that I don't feel beholden to these things. Does that mean that I look at other people's numbers and I think, oh, geez, I wish I had 500,000 followers? Of course, that's natural. But I also understand these things for the tools that they are. And I think all of you out there would accept if I needed a break, I would not use them. And I love human engagement, which is why I'm creating a business around it. I don't love being on the internet. So I am constantly trying to find ways, again, coming back to point 5, to do my businesses in a way that feels unique and authentic to me. That's an ongoing challenge, but it's a challenge that I'd love to explore. So I hope some of those get you thinking about what 2026 looks like for you, and know that the fear and the excitement go hand in hand, as they should, and know that all these people out there that look so successful, they have their moments, some of them big, some of them small, and all of that's totally normal. And I myself, just so you know, 16 years of running my own business, living in Paris, have those same reoccurring feelings as I embark upon something new. And the only thing I can promise you is that I will do my very best to make what I do successful. And all I can do is try my hardest. So, mes amis, I hope you're getting so excited about 2026. I really want this to be a fabulous year for all of you, and I can't wait to hear what your definition of fabulous means. And that can be everything from getting peaceful nights of sleep to launching a new business. And if you'd love to hear from me or work with me, don't forget to check out my website. If you need journal prompts, I have free journal prompts on my website for the winter. Perhaps they'll come to use in working on your jardin hiver, your winter garden, your secret winter garden. And I can't wait to see you next time. Let's get ready for a fabulous year ahead. And we're doing it together. A bientôt, mes amis. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Generate Her. If something sparked your curiosity or took root in your imagination or helped you to see possibilities just a tad bit clearly, I'd love to hear about it. Don't forget you can always connect with me via my website, janebertch.com, or on Instagram. My handle is my name, @JaneBertch. And if you'd like to go deeper, don't forget to check out my newsletter, Prompts from Paris, my retreats here in the city, journal prompts, and more that you can find on my website. Until the next time, may you keep tending your jardin, listening to your inner courage, and shining brightly right where you are. À très bientôt, mes amis.